Good evening. Every educator has a story, a personal mission or experience that inspired them to join the education profession, as well as what has kept them in the profession over time. My love for the principalship has inspired me to share my story, as well as to encourage others to share their own. On the screen, you are seeing pictures from May of 2010. Nashville received 14 inches of rainfall in 36 hours, causing a massive flood that destroyed many areas of our city, including ones that were never considered to be in a floodplain. Our home was one of those that was destroyed. The water level quickly rose 4.5 feet inside our home. We made it out with our cars, a few belongings, our cat, our wedding album, and our computer, which was extremely important because I had just finished the first 2 chapters of my dissertation. The following day, the NBC Nightly News reported on the flood that was recorded in our front yard. In times of disaster, when some are experiencing the most challenging of times, the best of humankind comes out in the neighbors that live near the disaster. The collective power of volunteers quickly poured into our neighborhood after the waters receded, including the principal and staff members from Harpeth Valley Elementary. Words cannot express the support and encouragement that our community provided. I hoped that in some way we would be able to give back to the community that helped us through such a traumatic time. That opportunity came just 4 years later when I was named principal at Harpeth Valley Elementary, where I continue to serve today. I am Anne Marie Gleason, and I am honored to be here tonight to share with you my desire to serve as the next vice president of NAESP. I am a native of Nashville, Tennessee, where I have dedicated 25 years of service to the Metro Nashville Public School System, serving as a classroom teacher, reading recovery teacher, Title I facilitator, assistant principal, and principal. I have been blessed to serve as principal in 3 school communities over the past 17 years. My career aspiration in education was not to become a principal. I had a passion for teaching and for curriculum, and I enjoyed being in the classroom. It was not until one of my principals began encouraging me to pursue administration that I began thinking about school leadership. She saw something in me that I did not see within myself. In my first course of educational leadership, I was charged with writing my personal mission statement. In 2002, I wrote the following: I choose to live my life on purpose. Each day I will choose to teach, to learn, to love, to serve, and to live a life of integrity. This mission statement continues to drive my work as an instructional leader, and it will guide my work with the NAESP board. If elected vice president, I will rally the collective power of NAESP leaders from across our nation to provide support and hope for the challenging times that we are all facing daily in our schools. I will advocate for all schools to have equitable and adequate funding, including the continuity of academic and emotional supports previously funded by ESSER, strengthening proactive mental health supports for students and staff, empowering school communities to mitigate barriers that negatively impact student success, including poverty, access to resources, and school safety, connecting principals to mentorship opportunities and leadership networks throughout their administrative career. If selected vice president of NAESP, I commit to supporting, empowering, and connecting with NAESP members through the following actions. I will support state-level organizations as they grow their NAESP membership base and provide professional learning opportunities for their members. I will empower school leaders by encouraging them to identify challenges, to work collectively, and to find solutions, advocating for change. I will connect with state organizations and members by sharing best practices so that we continue to refine our craft as leaders in our schools, our state organizations, and in our communities. The work that we do matters. And one of the reasons it is challenging is because it matters every single day. One of the best decisions I made when I began my administrative career was to join NAESP and the Tennessee Principals Association. I am grateful for the firm foundation that NAESP provides to school leaders. It would be an honor to serve as vice president, working to ensure that leaders continue to have the support, empowerment, and connection that have been such a blessing in my leadership journey. Thank you.
Thank you, Anne Marie. At this time, we will move into the questions and answers portion of the presentation. Anne Marie, you have 2 minutes to respond to the following question. Middle school educators face unique challenges, from standardized testing pressure to navigating the school and emotional development of adolescents. What message of hope and concrete solution would you share with middle school principals to help them overcome these challenges and ensure that all students thrive?
Middle school educators serve as the strong guide rails for students going through a very confusing time in their lives. You allow them the space to explore who they are while gently pointing them in the right direction. You help students find their voice, their talents, and their interests that they'll take with them for the rest of their lives. The foundation of a successful middle school begins with knowing your students and building relationships. Without these relationships, it will be very difficult to get these self-conscious, confused adolescents to take academic and social risks. The solutions that I offer you today revolve around one essential question. What practices are you using to ensure that every student is known? I encourage you to focus on the whole child, prioritizing both students' social and emotional well-being alongside academic success. Academic standards are important, but you also must make sure that you're teaching those soft skills that every person needs to be successful in life. Prioritize communication with families. As students transition from elementary to middle school, there is a false belief among parents that they need to pull back their support for their school and their child. This could not be further from the truth. Middle schools can provide opportunities for parent engagement, conferences, and frequent communication so that parents can partner with you to support their child's social and academic growth. Leveraging data to inform instruction. Establishing a schedule for data meetings with your teams to identify student needs and tailor that instruction. But when looking at data, remember that although you are looking at numbers, every number has a name, every name has a story. And if you want to impact the numbers, then you must impact the story. As middle school principals, you are empowered to make this challenging time in students' lives joyous and full of care and support. Thank you for being brave and guiding these students during such a unique time in their lives.
Thank you, Anne Marie. And now we will move to the second question, which Anne Marie will select randomly. Again, the candidates do not know these questions, specific questions, only the nature of them. I was looking for a bow. Excuse me. Anne-Marie? School safety is one of the most complex and controversial topics in American education today. What suggestions would you make as NAESP president to help combat this challenge?
I remember last year at this conference on the Monday, and I was sitting right in this part of the room, and my phone started getting texts and calls. And I was wondering what was going on that was so urgent. And it was the day that there was a school shooting in Nashville, about 12 minutes from my school. So I have watched a community grieve and mourn the loss of 3 students and 3 adults, including the administrator at Covenant School. Our schools have been very reflective and intentional about refining safety practices. However, we are not jumping at every new safety product or recommendation, and I encourage you to do the same. We have to ensure that there are multiple ways and means of communicating with your school staff should an emergency occur. Announcing a lockdown on the intercom, that is not enough. We need to utilize technology to be able to email and use apps to be able to connect with each other instantaneously and communicate well. We have established great partnerships with our local law enforcement, and they have become part of our school community, walking the halls, becoming part of our school family. I also encourage you, if you're not already, which I'm sure you are, to encourage frequent intentional safety drills. Security drills need to be taken seriously and practiced regularly, just like our fire drills. They need to be conducted at different times of the day so that we are ready for any time that an emergency may strike. And also having critical conversations with staff, even though it may be uncomfortable. Asking questions such as, what furniture would you move if there was an intruder coming in and you needed to block your door? Or what would you do if your class was in the hallway and you heard gunshots? While no one wants to visualize these scenarios, thinking through them will help us to be better prepared. And we cannot have school safety conversations or conversations about school safety with also talking about mental health. Teachers are leaving our profession not only because of the stress and anxiety of our jobs, but because of the unsafe behaviors of students suffering from untreated mental health needs. So I suggest and encourage you to prioritize those needs in our school, to teach students how to identify their emotions, teach de-escalation strategies, and utilize restorative practices, and have intentional, continual conversations between administrators, counselors, social workers, and parents so that we can get wraparound services for our students that need it the most. When our boys and girls leave their homes in the morning, our parents, they trust us to return their child to them safely in the afternoon. And when we say goodbye to our families in the morning, they have that same trust that they'll come home safely. We must stay vigilant in all that we do so that we can keep our schools safe. Thank you.